For us, sometimes I've listened to worse as a compliment.
Fuck yeah.
Welcome to Beerfield. I am your host at Beerfield Hop with 2 P's, joined by Beerfield Thury with 2 E's. I think it's the first time I've gotten it right since we've changed things.
Yeah.
We are the Beerfield Podcast, and it is week 1 of the 2021 season. WCW theme brought to you by Chris Canyon. Probably wrapping up this because we have not successfully been copyright claimed for it yet, and my cousin's band was nice enough to donate us an instrumental for a theme song going forward. I just haven't cut it down or edited yet. We'll probably give the OG one more run and look for a debut of new entrance music in about week 3, week 4, somewhere, whenever I get off my ass. So, Dan, how you feeling about week 1? I mean, it's here. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm ready.
I'm not ready. Like, let's be real here. We are just in victory lap preseason season. We were just in cut down victory lap season. We were just in Darrell Henderson's actually a bust season. I don't know if I'm ready. You have all these injuries. You got COVID related stuff. You got fucking soft tissue injuries popping up for key players. I'm ready for weeks 1 through 3 to just break my heart for all the injuries that are about to happen.
There's going to be heartbreak. There's going to be some things that we find out we were right about, some things we found out we were wrong about, and undoubtedly 1 or 2 things we didn't know about. While we've touted throughout the offseason, this in-season is going to be a little different. We'll still have all that headline stuff here for you. We're not going to not talk about that because that's fun for us. So, still going to be some analysis here, just not like... If it's a shit matchup, I don't want to talk about it.
You can listen to the 1,800 other podcasts that are going to tell you the same 6 sleepers, the same 6 busts, the same 6 be careful to play.
Waiver wire pickups, etc.,
etc. The same 6 to 7 waiver wire pickups, and all the clickbaity shit that you know and love from not only fantasy Twitter, but Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and your fucking cousin and neighbor down the block. So,
yep. What we're going to
give you that a little bit.
We're going to give you a little bit of that. We're not going to give you all that. We're not going to force 3 waiver wire pickups if we don't think they're on. We're going to talk about is what we want to talk about, what needs to be talked about, and undoubtedly what you guys ask us about. That's what we're going to talk about. Speaking of asking us things, I believe we will still be doing Sunday live streams. So
I hope so.
We are. Week 1, maybe from my in-laws, but we are going to still do some Sunday live streams. So, yeah, beyond for that, non-London games, probably 10:30, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there. I think we had better success last year when we went before the 11 o'clock hour when everybody else did.
We found out that we were better earlier because we were competing with all the big names trying to get on that hour before.
So we'll probably start 10:30. That way we catch a lot of the official ins-outs on the back end an hour before.
Yep.
But that way it can beat some other people to YouTube. So probably start 10:30. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Beerfield on YouTube. Beerfield Podcast, I think.
Hit that notification bell to
You'll know
let yourself know when we go live because we say 10:30. We say 8 o'clock. Very rarely are we ever on time.
Actually, really on time.
Sometimes we're a little early, but most times we're a bit late. So
Indeed. All right, before we get started, one thing that hasn't changed is that we still do a show here. And actually, I was about to go into Beerfield, and then I realized I didn't go into anything. So we will have some of the highlights of the news to talk about. Dan's got a work league he wants to break down here a little bit, and then we're going to get into week 1. We're going to look at some bets that we like, might do some buy or sells on some prop bets just because you can deduce both betting and fantasy analysis, I think, from prop bets. And then, we'll do whatever else we feel like doing. But first,
What's fueling Beerfield?
what do you got, Dan?
So because I just finished up my work week, the draft was at 7:00 Central. I busted out one of the Santa Caras, which is the barrel aged program that Distill puts on. I'm so, drinking through the rest of mine. So we're gonna go with that today. This is this is the Santa Cara. This is their sour fruited ale, their barrel aged sour program that what helped put them on the map. They won gold medals with these at FOBAB in previous years. This is going to be their strawberry added one. So this is going to be their base aged in oak barrels added strawberries to it. This is, I believe, from 2015.
All right, and I also decided I wanted to go barrel aged, so
There you go.
going a little different route. But I have from Prairie Artisan Ales Sunday service. This is a hot fudge Sunday inspired bourbon barrel aged imperial stout. It's got fudge, chocolate, vanilla, sprinkles, peanuts, and cherries. Sprinkles are just there to say that they put them in there, I think. But
Yeah, there's absolutely no way.
no, it's just going to ferment out. Just going to ferment out. But
That's cool.
so very decadent. We'll have a full review about partway through the episode. Hi, Hurricane. Making her normal appearance
Exactly.
in the background on YouTube. All right. So you have a draft you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we're not doing a full breakdown. We've given you guys a bunch of those over the last month or so.
And they're a lot more useful than they will be the day before the season starts.
Exactly. So this is more of a why I love home leagues or work leagues so much. We, Hopper and I have been in this industry going on our 5th season. So we've done a lot of expert drafts. We've been in a lot of expert mock drafts, redraft leagues, dynasty leagues, and you truly appreciate your home and work leagues because of some of the great picks you see. So we talked about on Monday with Eddie about how to kind of operate an 8-team league. Well, this work league I set up is an 8-team league.
I don't know if we were actually recording at that point with
We
Eddie
probably
or not.
weren't.
I don't
No,
remember.
no. We probably weren't. But generally when you play with smaller team size in your leagues, you want to up the starting roster to kind of help increase the the difference level in terms of who pays attention and doesn't. If you make it too small, most teams are going to look the same in terms of star power, and it's just it may look fun, but it never really is because there's no competitive edge to knowing more than your league mates. This one I made a little bit differently. So 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 receiver, 1 tight end, 3 flex. No defense, no kicker. The first pick of this class is the guy or from this draft, the first pick. It started off on a fucking hot note. Tom Brady went 101 in a 2 quarterback 8-team league over the likes of Mahomes.
Over the likes of
McCaffrey.
everybody, right? You
Over
went
the likes
101.
of literally everybody.
Over the likes of literally everybody.
Literally everybody in the league. This guy that took him he's
Homer.
based out of Florida. So I don't know if he's a true fledged Bucks fan, but he drafted like he was because he took Brady in the first. I know he took Gronk when he already drafted Kyle Pitts in like the 8th or 9th round. He took Scotty Miller over Antonio Brown and immediately then took Leonard Fournette. So
Gotta be a Bucks fan.
oh god, it was great. I know that. So in my league, I had the 4th pick in this league. When you're playing with your friends, your family, or your colleagues from work that don't quite know as much as you, it's hard to try to be on brand because you're expecting to know where certain players are going to go. And in these leagues, it goes out the fucking window. I had no clue that quarterbacks were going to be away. I ended up taking Dalvin Cook. I ended up getting Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott in the 2nd and 3rd round. I got Kelvin Ridley in the 4th round. Darren Waller in the 5th. I got Clyde in the 6th, Swift in the 7th. I wasn't expecting to go heavy RB, but when the draft falls to you that way, you kind of have to adjust to what you may think you were going to do.
Yeah, and it's always interesting when you're in those leagues because, like you said, you don't know when players are going to go, and you don't know when a run's going to happen that doesn't make sense, and then you have to decide, do you go against the run and stack a different position, or do you have to jump in on that run because even if it's way too early for a quarterback, if you're in a 10-team, 2-quarterback home league and there's a run on quarterbacks, you might have to get in on that, whether you like it or not.
Myles Gaskin went as the RB7.
Ooh. Well, I mean, he did just
the back end of the 2nd round.
Hey, there was Gaskin hype today.
It's the same guy who's the Bucks homer. And I don't if he listens, Brandon, if you're listening, buddy, don't take offense to this. We're just having fun with it. It wasn't the only out of reach picks.
No, and it's not the only time we've seen it this year. We see it everywhere. We just like to call attention to it and what you do, even though we're kind of at the very tail end of draft season. So
yeah, we like to have fun with it and just kind of poke fun at some of the more outrageous or outlandish picks.
Some of the things that make us go, huh? Basically.
Yeah. Like just how far quarterbacks fell. Russell Wilson was a 3rd round pick. I got Jalen Hurts in the 10th round because no one wanted to take him.
Well, also 8-team league.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Matt Ryan went before him. Baker Mayfield did. Trevor Lawrence did. Joe Burrow did. I mean, Tannehill, I guess, but that's most people would take that. So Justin Fields went in the 6th round. 3 rounds or 4 rounds before Jalen Hurts went. So you're gonna get homer picks, which is probably the most fun part. It's that even if you're expecting to get a player in the 3rd or 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, he may go 3 or 4 rounds before he's supposed to because you get a homer fan in there or just some person who heard his name and really wanted to have him. So Damian Williams went in the 12th round.
Gross.
Jonnu Smith did not get misdrafted. Scotty Miller went in the 12th.
Can we talk about that for a second? I want to talk about Monday night. And by the way, if you caught the very obscure live stream from Monday night, first off, thank you. Second off, kind of a cluster for our boy Eddie on Monday. So Dan and I had both prepared on doing a guest spot with him on Monday night after some conversation. We were under the impression that, Dan, correct me if I'm misstating anything here because I only half-assed paid attention. We were under the impression we were going to be doing a mock draft episode, I think.
That is correct. It was always supposed to be. It was originally supposed to be a mock draft just through chat. He was like, "Let's all do it together." And then I don't remember seeing. Maybe there was mention of it that this was going to actually be a real draft and not just a mock one, which I guess again makes sense if you're drafting the Monday before league start. But
again, I didn't know either, right?
Exactly,
because that might have, I didn't know either that was going to be a real draft, and then it was an 8-team real draft, and then I'm rushing home to do a podcast, and then we're not podcasting, and I'd been drinking since about 4 o'clock, so I'm now at the point where screw it. I was prepared to do a podcast. We're doing a damn podcast, so I started a podcast.
Yeah.
Is exactly how that went down. So go listen to that if you want. If not, no hard feelings, because we weren't planning on doing it. So, all right.
Spontaneous live streaming.
It was a spontaneous live. I didn't even tell them I was doing it. I just hit the music.
He goes, "Hey, Dan, you ready?" I'm like, "For what?" And then all of a sudden, the intro drops.
I hit the music. He's like, "Oh, we're going."
I didn't know you were I still didn't know that you were recording. I just assumed you weren't. And I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess we're recording."
Yeah. Nope, that's exactly what we did.
Love it. All right.
Didn't tweet it anywhere or anything. It's just if you follow us on YouTube, you saw it. There it is. Yep. Anyway. Here, I got some notable things to talk about because it's gonna go through how we do the game. So
News.
right, Austin Eckler mispracticed with the hamstring injury. He's limited to stationary bike work. Hamstring injuries would cost him the first part of last season, too. So, first thing to be aware of, this is a common issue now for Austin Eckler. And I didn't harp on this at all in the offseason, but it's the one reason I was kind of fading Austin Eckler, I think, harder than a lot of people were, even though it's not something I harped on. And this is not victory lapping an injury. This is just to say you got to be wary of this with Austin Eckler because it does happen, and it has happened to him throughout his career. And when it does, your clear backup right now is not Larry Roundtree. It's Justin Jackson.
Good callback.
Justin Jackson has
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, something
Yikes.
Nobody knows what we're talking about. But
Yeah,
Justin Jackson has done nothing but produce in the absence of Austin Eckler. He has outproduced Joshua Kelly. Kalen Ballage is not there anymore. So it is Justin Jackson if Eckler can't go, or even if Eckler is going to be limited. So, look, if you're one of those guys that went 0 RB, Justin Jackson wasn't drafted a lot of places. He does produce in these scenarios. So that is 100% something that you need to be aware of. Now,
it's not guaranteed he's going to miss Sunday.
No, but not practicing on Wednesday and being limited to stationary bike duty, little concerning.
Yeah.
That's not a great sign on a Wednesday practice.
Especially, this close to this week 1 of the season.
Right.
And, stay tuned. We'll have
be sure to tune in.
Updates.
Tune in on Sunday. We'll have an update. But if you're looking at grabbing some insurance, if you are the Austin Eckler manager, it's Jackson. Now, they are up against Washington, so it's not a great matchup. But, yeah, that is what it is.
And then, not even just if you're the Eckler owner, but if you have Dobbins, if you had Akers, if you had Etienne, the guys that you spent significant capital on,
if you're just
you
playing,
may be in need of a backup running back or just a spot start,
right? Because you know how the breakout guy is going to be. You might just be playing it week to week to start the season. Justin Jackson,
yeah,
it's Jackson.
Yeah.
So, AJ Brown missed practice Wednesday. It was termed as just a rest day, but this is after double knee surgery, and he's taking rest days before the season starts because of his knees. So that is a situation to monitor, not one to be concerned about yet. Anything like that, it is just a situation to monitor. We don't know if he's still working his way back from the surgery, or if he really does have some chronic knee things going on that are going to wear on him throughout the season. They did last year, and he was obviously fine. Just a situation to pay attention to there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal until it's made into a big deal.
Right.
We don't know.
It's not a big deal yet. We're not going to make a big deal yet.
No, and no one is, and no one should be. But again, this is the one where you monitor, just how much he's being used. He may see less snaps. He may get pulled early if Tennessee's up a lot or down a lot. So just one of those situations where don't expect him to play out the full game if situations potentially go heavy, positive or heavy negative.
Yep. So speaking of teams that might have lost a back there planning on being a starter, or at least having flex value, Justice Hill ruptures Achilles, was waived by Baltimore. They have signed Le'Veon Bell to their practice squad. So
they promoted Trenton Cannon
for now.
Trenton Cannon for now, formerly from the Jets.
So it's going to be him, Tyron Williams, sorry.
Tyson Williams, yeah.
Tyson Williams, that's it, sorry. I saw that name a lot and had a lot of who as I was seeing it. It's the same thing for when we get to the Saints. Look, Gus Edwards, we know, is going to get the lion's share. Baltimore traditionally uses multiple backs along with Lamar Jackson. Somebody else is going to emerge there. You're better off having either a non-proven commodity in Tyson Williams on your roster. Non-proven commodity, not even somebody who he wasn't on my radar anywhere. I don't know if he was on yours, but he's not been on my radar anywhere. So, and Le'Veon Bell, who's still under 30, has been looking for a little bit of a shot, hasn't really caught on anywhere. Looks like he's probably at some point going to get a shot to have a role here again.
And we kind of know what, like, Bell isn't going to be fantasy relevant, but he might be relevant enough to where he's more of a nuisance. We know that Gus Edwards we know his role is increasing. No one's going to be shocked by that. No one should be shocked if Tyson Williams takes a couple touchdowns. No one should be shocked when the Ravens running backs just don't catch the football. 3 targets per game. They had 52 targets last year. They had 51 targets 2 years ago. They do not check it down.
No.
And that's just like...
Because you don't need to. If you're in a check down scenario, Lamar's just going to run.
Yeah. I've never bought into the overall, the massive swing into Gus Edwards' value. We still don't know if he's going to handle this 65 percent plus opportunity share.
You're not.
And he may end up being taken out. Like Tyson Williams does not look any different than Gus Edwards.
No, he's 5'11", 220. Here's the rundown on Tyson Williams. 5'11", 220, undrafted free agent last year out of BYU, 25 years old. Speed score and 40 score were both okay. I'll look at his college production here in just a second, but
it's not elite.
Not
he's in the bottom 3rd percentile in dominator yards per carry and college target share. He's got similar speed score and a 40 time compared to Gus. Gus is 2 inches taller, 10 pounds heavier.
So they're about similar. Yeah, no, he didn't. Wait, that's not the right guy. Sorry. I found the wrong Tyson Williams.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's kind of the problem with doing things college football databases, right? No, not elite production at any point. 1,100 yards throughout his entire college career at South Carolina. So never top 400. So he's not anybody that necessarily projects as a threat to Gus Edwards, but you're trying to hit something on a line with Gus Edwards. You're not swinging for the fences. You're trying to get good, solid week-to-week RB2, RB3 value out of Gus Edwards, and somebody else is going to come along behind him. Might be Tyson Williams, might be Le'Veon Bell. We'll see. Might be somebody else. Who knows? Maybe none of that works, and they go sign Latavius Murray. More on that in a second. Well, I bridged into it. We'll just do it.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray was cut by the Saints after refusing to take a pay cut. So he made the team. They're going to keep him, but coming off the best year of his career, he did not want to play for less, so they cut him. There is, to me, no way that he does not catch on with another team at some point this season, given how good he was last year. It's just a matter of who and when. I'm surprised that something hasn't happened already, but I'd guess by next week he's going to be worked out or signed someplace. Baltimore comes to mind with all the injuries that they've had. There could be some places that are hampered by ineffectiveness, some early injuries that we're going to see. So some people that decide they need depth. Maybe the Chargers decide they're not happy with their depth behind Austin Eckler. Latavius Murray will catch on somewhere. The question is how long can you ride an unrostered player? Because if you drop him, you're probably going to be clamoring for him on a waiver at some other point, but you're going to drop him at some point if he doesn't latch on in a week or two.
I mean, at this point, he leaves one of the better situations he was in. He was in a familiar offense. He was in a great role for him. I don't know if he's a running back that's ever going to command a heavy work share, at least for large portions of the season.
Right.
I don't know where he land. Like, he probably won't sign with the team till after week 1, where teams assess what the running back depth chart looks like, what the backfield depth looks like, and if injuries start to happen. Like, he leaves a great situation in New Orleans based around what his skill set is, and likely may not find one better. It may seem better, but he'll also have to get, acclimated into the offense, and there's no guarantee that he ever sees the field for significant. He's not, like, to me, he's not worth being drafted. Like, he should be dropped.
He should be. You're just gonna wait until after week 1 to do it, I think.
Yeah, unless you have massive, roster spots, then sure. But it's gonna be you'll more than likely end up dropping them. So,
and I'm looking at him now. I mean, he's always been a good role player too. He's never been under. Sorry, he's been under 4 yards an attempt once in his career. He's commanded basically 150 plus touches as a backup every season. So, I mean, it's not non-zero even if he doesn't catch on in a lead role. It's just you're probably not going to wait past week one once you see some of the performances in week one to churn that. But if you don't have to, maybe hold him a week or two just to see. Just kind of see what happens. Because he is going to be one of the more sought-after players if a team needs back depth.
He should be one of the, I mean, he is getting up there. He's 31 now.
31.
So,
but
I mean, he fits perfectly for Houston, who has all the old over-the-hill running backs.
But he's 31 without a lot of mileage is the other thing here, too. And you didn't see a drop-off last year. He's actually improved his efficiency numbers each of the last 3 years.
I want to say he's always been on teams with above-average offensive line, which is obviously great. There's not like
New Orleans, Minnesota, Oakland.
Oh, I mean, Oakland was what 6-7 years ago at this point. So Minnesota
6
back there in their runs before the offensive line situations became a huge problem.
Yeah,
New Orleans has historically had an above average to good offensive line.
New Orleans has. That's the only one I think I could agree with. Minnesota, I think even when they were making runs,
2017 season when he was the starter after Dalvin Cook was out for the year for his torn ACL, they were an above average blocking team too. Like
they've never been elite.
Yeah, but again, he's good enough to to be a 1A 1B
and command targets, and he doesn't have a lot of command touches, and he doesn't have a lot of mileage. Is the point there?
We'll see where he lands.
We'll see where he lands and what happens. Just keep an eye. Like I said, if you got multiple players you're looking at dropping, it's just something to consider. If you have somebody that lays a total dud, because you are not going to hold on to that hope forever that he lands in a good situation, but he could potentially land in a very good situation. So, just if you drop him, you might be chasing him later.
Yeah,
maybe
happens a lot.
We'll see what happens. I'll either be right or I'll be wrong. Two true outcomes.
It's like a coin flip of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson. So he's on the Texans 53-man roster, third on the depth chart. They're going to healthy scratch him for the time being.
I mean, they've been saying this last about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That if they can't find a trade partner, it'll just be a healthy scratch. I don't think there really ever was a trade partner. I think it was just them trying to.
I don't think there was either. And I don't think there will be until the legal shit's resolved. So he's going to sit there until somebody's job's on the line, or the fans revolt, or something.
Or
because he's not on the exempt list somehow,
or until they finally lessen up on what they're looking for an offer, and then someone makes that deal.
Right.
2-3 weeks in, we lose a quarterback. They may come knocking real quick, and Houston may not have the upper edge because the longer they hold on to Watson, the less.
Tyrod Taylor and Davis Mills both end up hurt.
I still don't know why the fuck is Tyrod Taylor playing.
Because he's their best option.
To a team that's literally going nowhere. Like, we know Tyrod's got virtually no upside to him beyond what his value is. Why not see what they have?
Look, it's a good omen for Davis Mills, I guess.
That's true. He'll eventually start and then, I guess, break some records. Baker broke a record when Tyrod got hurt.
So did Herbert.
So did Justin Herbert. Just a matter of time until Davis
He's like
Mills.
the good luck Chuck of quarterbacks.
Seppi has to have punctured lunch to get there. Shout out to Tyrod Taylor.
We do like Tyrod around here.
We do like Tyrod Taylor. There's something wrong.
Ka'imi Fairbairn, IR, speaking of the Texans. He's going to be replaced by Joey Sly. If for some reason you're in the market for a Texans kicker, don't be. Kicker analysis brought to you by Beerfield. Evan Ingram not practicing Wednesday. His week 1 status isn't serious doubt already. If you drafted Evan Ingram, you know this is.
I wonder if he ends up being a move target before the deadline. They were trying to trade him this offseason. I wonder if they end up trying to ship him.
Not if he's broken. If he's healthy, sure, they probably do.
I mean, like, even if maybe he'll miss a game or two, and then whatever team they move him
game
to.
or 2 or 6. That's about standard for Evan Ingram.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when he's not dropping passes, he's just not.
When he's not dropping
the
passes, he's not on the field.
That's exactly.
I didn't realize so much of this news was about the Texans, but apparently it is. Mark Ingram and Phillip Lindsay are going to get the majority of the running back reps. So David Johnson is buried.
Imagine that.
In the Texans' backfield.
Mark Ingram is still relevant. I mean, he's not, but
yeah, no,
good for Mark
it
Ingram.
just goes
Good
to
for
show
him.
that Phillip Lindsay at the end of the day was probably the right late round call here if you're looking for when you were looking for value in the Texans' backfield.
As soon as we started hearing news on who's taking first team reps in training camp, and then obviously when preseason hit, it became pretty obvious that it wasn't going to be David Johnson. So,
Right, it did.
maybe they'll make the right call and they'll cut. I thought for sure they would have cut Ingram right now or by now, but maybe David Johnson's the one that eventually gets let go
Could be.
or
Well-
a team trades for him.
We'll find out. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of this, shall we?
Let's do it, bud.
Let's get into some week one matchups. All right. The first week one matchup, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They play on Thursday. So,
No Zach Martin, which is one of their better offensive line for Dallas. That is a big loss for them, especially their running game. It's the best, one of the better guards in football.
it is a big loss for the running game. Tampa Bay has a scary defense. You're not going to not start Zeke based on where you drafted him. As far as fantasy goes, this is if you drafted him, you start him. There's not going to be any deep cuts here or anything like that, right? Maybe you stay away from a Michael Gallup, but you're not going to sit CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper or anything like that. So this is
They're just going to kind of lower the expectations for
Yeah.
what you would assume is their ceiling for
on the
this week.
Dallas side, a team that
On
threw a
Dallas,
shitload. Yeah. For Tampa Bay, Dallas's defense is nothing scary at all. You should be full steam ahead on that. Running backs, obviously, be cautious there because you don't know where the workload's going to go yet. That's something we'll be monitoring throughout the first couple weeks of the season.
And just don't be surprised. Like, when you see what looks to be lopsided, I mean, 51.5 points, 8.5 points spread. Tampa Bay figures to win this game handily.
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot of, there's not a whole lot of betting on Dallas to score a lot of points. They definitely could. They definitely have the firepower to get there. This is if Tampa Bay gets up early, you may see less of Brady. You may see maybe a little bit of rest for Godwin, who was on the injury report until today over the last couple weeks. Not to say that you're not going to obviously bench these guys, but again, if the Bucs get up pretty early, don't sit there and be shocked that all of a sudden you're seeing a little bit less of Evans, a little bit less of Godwin, a little bit less of Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Now, the other thing here is that 51.5 point over-under. Does that scare you at all, given some of the Thursday night duds that we've seen over the last couple of years? I think only 2 of the last 6 years have crossed the 51-point mark.
I mean, it looks good on paper. You have one of the faster paced teams in Dallas against one of the most, if not the most complete team in football. I'm not, unless you think Dallas is going to cover and then kind of keep pushing this. I'm bet on the fact that Tampa Bay gets up early. Maybe Dallas gets a couple late touchdowns. I'm staying away from the over under. I think 51 it's probably right where it should be, if not skewing towards the higher end.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'm betting the under. Like, you could, if you want to play the odds of opening season Thursday night games being under, then fine. I'm not putting a lot of money on it then.
No, I'm not putting a lot of money on this game anyway because 8.5 point spread is a lot given Dallas's offense. We know how good Tampa Bay's defense can be. Defenses do sometimes come out slow.
Yep.
And really, I don't like Dallas for an upset, and negative 420 is not good enough odds for me to throw Tampa Bay in anything other
There's
than
no-
a parlay.
yeah,
So
There's no way. Like, and plus, you got to really hope Tampa Bay gets up by 3 or 4 touchdowns, because Dallas does have the power to kind of score late if Tampa Bay's playing soft with some backups out there. So, no, I'm staying away from it.
all right, let's see. Looking at some player props here. just want to throw a couple player props out here just to get an idea for what we're expecting. So let's look at passing yards. Tom Brady over 300.
No, I'm not taking.
I think that's probably under. Dak Prescott over 300, over 288.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'll take that.
I would probably take that one as well. So,
Yeah.
Let's see. Passing touchdowns. Again, I like Dak. Brady's over under is 2.5. Dak's is 1.5. I think they're both over, but I like Dak's number more.
Well, I'll just say this: for most passing, I'll take Dak and it's over because it already sounds like they're gonna undervalue it.
Right.
I'm not taking Brady with this high of a spread, and we've seen historically. If he's quarterbacking, there he has no problem, quote unquote, taking the night off when it comes to his box score. Like they can easily ride Rojo, Fournette. Gio's got a high ankle sprain he's dealing with, but there's still Keyshawn Vaughn there. There's enough running back power to where if Tampa Bay gets up early, they may just ride out the storm and not let Brady do anything. It's week 1.
Wow.
God forbid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got rush attempts. Listen to this one. Zeke, 13.5.
That's the whole game.
Gotta be the whole game. 13.5. That's gotta be over, right?
Yeah, that one. I mean, and again, week 1 betting websites, you see this a lot for DFS, where you see very competitive salary for players because you want to get people betting. You want them to actually win so they spend more as the season goes on. You may see this week 1 prop bets too. Don't be surprised. Thursday night game. It's the game. It's the season opener, guys. It's the first game of this long season.
There are some things you can deduce, though. Also,
Yeah.
FanDuel is treating Ronald Jones like the lead back for
What's his?
Tampa Bay. His is 10.5 for carries and 48.5 for yards.
See, I'm also betting on Jones being the starter, and if I'm thinking that Tampa Bay is going to get up early and often, Ronald Jones is likely going to be the guy carrying that workload.
Yeah,
Fournette's been the backup this entire
and
offseason.
Fournette's been 36.5. Numbers at 36.5. Zeke, by the way, Vegas not expecting him to do great either. 54.5 is his over under for yardage, and I think that's
best run defense in football.
Realistic
That's
against this
early,
defense, yeah.
Yeah.
So when we say fade Zeke, that's kind of what we're doing. I kind of just figured out that our niche really could be using Vegas odds to give fantasy analysis. So receiving yards, there's not a lot of variance. Mike Evans is down on this list, but I mean, Vegas does not know what to do with Tampa Bay's receivers any more than we do. Godwin,
I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't
bet on
player
anything
odds
there.
on any Tampa Bay player. Like
No.
I with the running backfield being concerned, if I'm taking anything, I'll take Rojo and the rushing yards. But I'm staying away from all receiver props because just again, this large of a spread at home, you may see the running backs more than the receiver second half.
Yeah. And back to Michael Gallup, by the way, speaking of a team that should be throwing, he does not have a prop on receiving yards. It's CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper that do. They're at 66 and 61.
Interesting.
So Cooper at 66, Lamb at 61. For the Bucs wide receivers, they're all between 58.5 and 60. So, Vegas doesn't know what to do with the Bucs any more than we do.
Yeah.
So
one of them is going to go over the other. The rest of them are going to go under.
And you're going to really put all three out there because Dallas does not have a strong defense.
Exactly.
And see what happens. But just more so going towards Michael Gallup is a set. So just that's enough on that game.
Yeah. Yes.
Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 6.5. Over under on this one's 48. So Pittsburgh, it's going to be interesting to see if Ben is gotten better from last year and if they have fixed the offense or the offensive line from where they were last year.
I actually like Pittsburgh's 6.5 here.
Yeah,
healthy.
I do too.
Both defenses are very good. Pittsburgh's is one of the more complete defenses in
and
football.
TJ Watt returned to practice. He's
Yeah.
not still holding out. So
this is the first game post Josh Allen money, and the first time we're going to see if last season's a fluke or not. I'm not. When I say that, please don't think that I actually think that. But Allen, historically, an inefficient, turnover-prone quarterback his first 2 years. Pittsburgh's elite defense, they're looking to make, like, they've been disrespected all year. No one's given him a lot of praise as a division winner, and we're both guilty of that too. But I wouldn't be shocked if Pittsburgh comes out. This is a low-scoring game that's kept close throughout.
And Vegas has the props on these pretty neutral, by the way. It's got Ben and Allen very close on passing yards. They don't have touchdown props up.
I'd probably just take Diggs' reception over.
Yeah, it's not up. They don't have receiving totals.
It's also Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Obviously, Sunday games, these won't be up generally until Saturday.
Right. There is a receiving yards prop on Diggs. It's 88.5. So Diggs is expected to do pretty well.
I would also expect Diggs to do pretty well. Obviously,
things we don't have to tell you.
Exactly.
Deontay Johnson is being looked at right now as the Steelers wide receiver 1, barely over Juju. And I'm
wondering, what I really want to know is because there's been reports about Deontay moving inside, letting Juju operate outside.
Which,
as we saw last year, that's great for Deontay.
Not good for Juju.
It's not great for Juju. Well, it might be actually better for Juju as a more of a deeper, downfield threat, to go alongside Claypool. But if Deontay is going to get all the underneath slot work, obviously lower ADOT, but you could see games where he's right now, I think, more explosive than Juju.
Well, the biggest
you may
thing
see a little more big plays
with moving Deontay inside against the Bills too is that you're going to create a little bit of a mismatch there. So, just throwing that out there because he's not going to draw Tre'Davious White at that point. He's going to draw either Levi Wallace or Teron Johnson. So,
if there's one thing you want to, kind of look out for in this game is to kind of see where these players, where Juju and Deontay is being lined up,
and how they're being worked. Who's winning? Because that's going to be a fight in the early part of the season. Is Juju or is Deontay the true one? We know Claypool is going to be explosive. And look. The Bills are a solid defense. The Bills are just okay at cornerback behind Tre'Davious White. So, the question is it Deontay or Juju going to be outside and draw White? Either way,
well, I think White's going on Claypool. Like Claypool,
you think White's going on Claypool?
Like if you're putting your top corner on any of these receivers, you're putting them on the big, hyper athletic receiver on the outside.
Sure.
Like Claypool is going to probably draw number one coverage most games. At least when you have a top edge corner like a shadow cover guy or a guy like Wyatt or Jair from Green Bay, like you're gonna probably put it on their bigger, hyper athletic receiver who's even shown it as early as his rookie season.
Sure, and we'll see how the Bills play it. I know that I don't believe White shadows, so they may be able to move around and get some matchup differences is kind of the point there, right? If you're weak behind White,
we hope so.
I'd imagine that Claypool is the guy they're going to try to create mismatches with. So he is a solid dart throw in a game where I feel like it's pretty neutral game script for both teams.
Yeah.
All right, Jets Panthers. Panthers are favored by 4.5. Speaking of neutral game scripts, this is going to be very, very much a figure out each team type of game because this is going to be very, very neutral for both teams, and you're about to learn in week 1 what is Sam Darnold going to be in this Panthers offense, how are they going to utilize Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Terrace Marshall. You know what CMC is going to be, and for the Jets, you're going to learn how is Zach Wilson going to start his career, how are they going to deploy Elijah Moore, and how good is Corey Davis going to be in this offense? Because, it's very neutral. Carolina is an average to maybe slightly above average defense. The Jets' defense does not factor in it being very good. So you're going to learn a lot about these two teams, I think.
I think the only bet I like is Jets money line. I don't want to bet this game. There's too many variables, too many new faces in new places. You have a completely overhauled team in New York. We like the moves the Jets have made. I think they've made generally the right move all along since the revamped coaching staff to the players on offense and defense. I don't know what we're gonna get from these guys long term.
Over under
In terms of fantasy, this game just does not excite me.
Over under is
The one I'm
44 and a
looking at.
half. So Vegas isn't expecting you to be excited either, but I think they could go over that.
They could, and if you want to bet that, if you want to bet small, sure, take the over. 44.
I like the
and a half.
Jets money line too, though. I really
Jets
do.
money line. I think is the only bet I'll make, and I'm not putting a lot of money on it.
It's plus 166. Everything else is pretty chalk here, right? You're gonna run out Morton Anderson against the Jets. Should not be in a situation unless it's super flex where you're starting Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold, and even if it's super flex, they're likely going to be your QB3s. Just roll with that until you see what you get out of them.
Yep.
Maybe Darnold because the Jets defense, but that's like somehow without a major quarterback injury, you're in a dire situation anyway. Like maybe you drafted Drew Lock and Sam Darnold on the same team.
I really hope you don't have to throw out Sam Darnold week 1. Maybe he's fine. Maybe he is.
I might. But anyway. Yeah, so that's another game that's pretty chalk. It's pretty neutral. Moving on to Jacksonville and Houston.
The
So
worst game I want to bet. I don't give.
I don't want to touch this damn game with anything. I think, look, I want to skip over this game. We already talked about what we think the Houston backfield's going to be. Brandon Cooks is the obvious answer here. I don't want to talk betting on this game. Look, if you're going to bet this game, the Jags are favored, bet the Jags at negative 180 and call it good. It's a 3-point spread, by the way.
I don't. Something still makes you feel better that Lawrence is only getting -3. Like he's only 3-point favorite. Like I think Jacksonville comes out and wins this game easily.
I think I do too.
But it's again rookie quarterback.
Bad head coach. We're
Bad
assuming
head
he's going to be a bad
coach.
head coach.
There's just.
But the
there's
Texans
so
are a
many-
straight dumpster fire. By
Like,
the way,
again,
the over-under on this one is higher than New York, Carolina. By a
I can
point.
see that Houston's defense is a dumpster fire, and at least we feel a little more confident that Jacksonville, just like the Jets and Panthers, can score enough points to maybe. I'm not concerned about it. I think if you want to go for fun, maybe do a Jets and Jaguars money line parlay. If you really want to bet these games, like you shouldn't want to bet these games, but if you do, I agree with you. Jaguars money line, Jets money line. Maybe throw them together in a parlay.
Sure.
Have fun with the rookie quarterback. Maybe do a rookie QB parlay, and Jets and Jaguars can be a part of it.
Great. I didn't even look at props on that. You want me to see if there's props up for that game?
No, I don't know.
Because you're talking about rookie quarterback parlays. So
Well, team parlay for fun.
do you want to see if Lawrence has anything up?
I could see Lawrence's parlay being like maybe 260 on the passing yards. I don't know how much it's going to be up because against Sunday.
There's some up, some not up. There are no player props up for this game. There are player props up for Titans Cardinals though.
So we're going to probably look at these before Sunday. I'm definitely going to look at these Sunday morning. So we'll hit on some of these Sunday morning for the Sunday games.
We have spent way more than the 45 seconds I wanted to spend on Jacksonville Houston.
Well, that was more of a PSA. So Cardinals Titans. Our Titans are 3-point favorites at home. 52.5 is the total. I love the over in this.
I actually like the Cardinals just because of the plus odds. I mean, look, this is a coin flip game to me. So,
I mean, yeah, I'll take either the 3 points if I think they're going to win, which I think they definitely could. We're going to find out just how bad this Titans defense is, though. The Cardinals, high pace, a lot of firepower on offense. We're going to find out pretty quickly how bad this Tennessee defense is. And then maybe Tannehill, if you're going props here, maybe you go on the overs on the passing props and the receiving props here.
yep, Tannehill, no passing props yet other than yards. Tannehill's at 249.5. Murray's at 259.5.
240. I think Tanny go.
I think
both
Tanny goes
quarterbacks
over 250. I think they both go over.
Yeah, I think both go over 300. I think this game total reaches nearly 60.
Over under on Henry's 100 plus rushing yards. So I mean, Yeah, that makes you feel good if you're a Henry manager.
I mean, I gotta expect every single game he's in, he's gonna have over.
He's gonna
100.
be that,
I
yeah.
take the under in that one,
I probably
I
would
think-
too.
especially if Carolina or Carolina, especially
Arizona.
if the Cardinals get up early and they force the hand of Tennessee. They have to throw more. Derrick Henry under 100-yard prop bet might be. It sounds a bit rich, but don't be shocked if it happens.
Chase Edmonds, by the way, is the only Arizona back with any props on him. It's receiving yards. Look, Titans defense figures to be bad. Chase Edmonds, if you drafted him late, throw him in your flex spot with confidence in this game, I think.
I fucking love him in this game.
I love him in this game.
Oh,
This is going to
man.
be an opportunity for him to show out a little bit, show how he's going to be utilized, show what it is. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with a plug-and-play pick here of Chase Edmonds. So,
Yeah, I agree.
not as bullish on James Conner. I think Edmonds is going to get the majority of everything here. So, I mean, it's Edmonds.
especially if we believe this game goes shootout.
Yep.
Which I think we both do.
And
so.
we'll see how they use AJ Green. That's the other takeaway here. So,
I'm more excited to see Rondo more to see what his role
yeah,
is.
Christian, and more obviously not propped either. It's all Kirk. Eagles, Falcons. Falcons are favored in this game. This is going to be another dumpster fire of a train wreck.
This is the one. If I'm putting any heavy money on any
I'm putting on a
That-
Philly.
on the over, I want 48.5.
Oh, yeah.
Bad defenses,
Bad
above
defenses
average to
and-
good offenses.
Yeah.
Like this game could, and it's in a dome, so no weather problems. It's on turf. Like, give me. I'm shocked that this is only 40. I'm surprised this isn't over 50. This feels like an easy overcall, which means I'll probably be wrong. But like all the players, whoops, oh. Is Live Studio trying to make a presence on the camera?
Just her hand.
I saw a glimpse. I'm like, oh god, it's either a ghoul or it's his wife.
It's,
So
well, I mean, a little bit of both.
we miss her. But yeah, no, this should be one of the higher game totals. This is probably my favorite game to stack in DFS. This one and the Cardinals Titans. Again, if you're, for whatever reason, if you're looking for lower end flex plays, receivers from this game: Russell Gage, Jalen Reagor, Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I'm not running out for any.
I hope you don't have
Eagles
to week one,
receiver,
but if you
but
do, you want to target
You
games like this.
obviously, Ridley, Mike Davis,
Yes.
Miles Sanders. You're obvious. Look, this is one of those games, and we're going to say it's a lot about the Falcons and the Eagles. This is one of
What's
those
gonna be really
games
funny?
where. What's that?
It's when Mike Davis outsnaps Wayne Gallman by like 80%,
Oh, yeah, he will.
and the whole Davis Gallman fucking conversation can be put to rest.
Yeah. Although I like Gallman, but Gallman couldn't last with the 49ers when they make. Like, I thought Gallman might have been a value with San Francisco, and he couldn't last in San Francisco where they make every back relevant. So, Mike Davis has easily got first crack at that. But yeah, I agree with the take on Philly wide receivers in this if you have to have them. Other than that, this is pretty squared up.
Yep. No, I agree.
Chargers at the football team. 1 point spread here.
I'm wondering how much this changes once we get news on Eckler, if we get news early.
And even odds. Yeah, I am too. So, look, football team has a great pass rush. Chargers, not a fantastic line. We're going to see how Justin Herbert handles a little bit of heat in this one.
Both defenses, thank God the Chargers defense is healthy.
Yeah,
For now.
both defenses are going to be good. This is not a game where you want to go getting cute running out offensive players. It's really not. You're looking Gibson, Scary Terry, whichever back for the Chargers goes. It's either going to be Jackson or Eckler. And Keenan Allen. You're not getting cute with anything else in this game.
I
There's
wouldn't
no
even
reason
get
to.
cute. I know we talked about the backups for the Chargers. I would even get cute and play them if it's not Eckler.
If you don't have to.
Yeah, if you don't you're right, if you don't have to, hopefully, you drafted enough
Depth.
depth and not have to worry too much about an Eckler injury week one, but
I would still take.
it's not a good matchup for Jackson, so don't expect ceiling.
My
Hopefully
argument
he
is
gets some
this.
targets. He gets some targets.
My argument is this: if I took Fournette, for example, as one of my is my biggest depth running back, right?
Well, it's tough because it's Thursday, so true.
I'm
Thursday game week 1.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Jackson. Or
The question is, would you wait to hear the news on Eckler and then play Jackson, or would you still play Fournette? The answer is you're still playing Jackson.
yeah, I'd play Jackson. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are scenarios where even in a rough matchup, you're still going with Jackson, even if you took some form of back depth, right? You got to be smart about it, basically. If you got questions, show up and ask them. But
Yes.
you're not
Yes,
getting cute
do
with
that,
anything
please.
this game. It's pretty much a coin flip, according to Vegas. So, over-under on this is 44.5. I wouldn't be surprised if this went under.
Yeah, but this is a point total I just don't want to mess with.
You know, it's low enough to where it's believable, but it's so low that somebody could surpass it too, right? Both
Yeah.
defenses are good.
Someone's going to go off. And you make it, and there is scenarios out there because both offenses have enough firepower to where
Oh,
if
yeah,
one
they
of
do.
these teams get up early, don't be surprised if the Chargers somehow get out the 2 touchdowns. Maybe, Fitzpatrick throws a couple early picks. They get, a couple early touchdowns, and then the game becomes wide open.
Line holds
that
up
can
a little
definitely
bit.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not out of the realm of possibility for Fitzpatrick, who is
This is a game I actually want to watch, even though it's going to be low scoring. I
I
think
would
this one's
totally-
going to. I think this
I
one's
cannot-
going to be fun.
Yeah, I cannot wait to throw on Red Zone for this and hopefully get a lot of Chargers football team highlights.
Yeah, I think that one's going to be fun. Niners Niners favored by a touchdown and a half.
Niner Lions, yeah, a game that I also don't. I like the. This is chalk. I'll just say that.
Yeah, whatever
Niners should
chalk,
be up.
whatever chalk is with Detroit, right?
Hawkinson and Swift. That's it. There's no need to get cute with the receivers. 'Cause again, we've spent an alarming amount of time talking about them. You're not throwing them out there week 1, anyways.
For Niners or Lions?
For the Lions.
No, you're not.
Swift and
you
Hawk,
want to see how they
that's-
use them. It's Swift and Hawk
Yeah.
from the Lions standpoint. Niners standpoint, Ayuk, if you go, I mean, look, here's the thing. We see it all the time. Bad teams, which the Lions figure to be a not great team, do not do well for wide receivers because they end up in a bad game script. So this is a game where if you don't have to start Ayuk or Debo, maybe you just kind of don't, because the game script here says San Francisco's not going to have to throw a lot. They're going to run a lot. So start your running backs, but if you can avoid your wide receivers, this is kind of a week to do it. And that sounds counterintuitive against the Lions, but we see year after year after year when we look at it that wide receivers in this scenario where it's negative game script, a bad defense with a questionable offense, do not feast. The feast point for a wide receiver is a bad defense and an average to above average offense on the opposing team.
Or just games that you expect the shutout to be. If you're probably where you took Ayuk, you're probably going to end up playing him, at the very least in your flex spot. He's battling a hamstring injury, which I think it's been a thing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Debo was generally drafted at a value towards the middle late part of your drafts. You don't have to throw them out there. You're obviously playing Kittle. I'm playing Mostert over Sermon because Mostert's going to give you the starter.
Sermon
Don't
might
need to
not
put-
be a bad option either, though, given how I expect the game script to go.
Yeah, I mean,
Again, just look at
Again,
flex plays.
yeah.
Again, maybe you lost Eckler and you have Sermon in your depth spot.
Yeah.
Sermon's a guy that I might throw out there without having to turn and burn a roster.
I
spot
tell you
for
right now,
Jackson.
you're going to see a lot more Javonte Williams being played, and it wouldn't shock me if Sermon outscores Javonte Williams. So
It would not me either, given that game script. Seahawks Colts. Carson Wentz is expected to play. We'll get to see a little bit of a new look Colts offense. Over under here is 50. Seahawks favored by 3.
I kind of I guess Wentz has been full practice, no problems with the foot.
Yeah,
I kind
and
of like the over here, man. I kind of like
Nelson might play too. By the way,
DFS stacking. All these players for both teams are reasonably priced. This is a sneaky one for DFS stacking in your tournament plays. I do think Seattle wins this game, but I don't hate the Colts money line. I probably would just stick to betting the over. Seattle. I heard Seattle only kept 4 wide receivers.
I believe they did. I will verify that right now, but they did.
Is,
They kept 5 backs, and no, I actually riffed on this a little bit. So they kept
fucking nuts.
5 backs and 4 wide receivers.
That is so bad.
My argument here was that actually they kept 7 backs.
I don't know how
practice
much
squad.
of
They
this-
kept 5. They kept a fullback, and then Penny, DJ Dallas, Travis Homer, Alex Collins, Chris Carson. So there's 6, including the fullback. The thing for me,
5 receivers. Oof.
they kept
Metcalf, Lockett, Eskridge, Freddie
Swaim and Penny Hart.
Three receivers on practice squad, 1 on IR. You're probably not going to see 5 receivers in this game. Eskridge, though.
You might see Eskridge in a little bit. Same thing with Swaim. I mean, we've seen them hit some of these obscure guys on deep shots. Mostly going to be Metcalf and Lockett. I'd imagine a lot of this is going to try to run through Chris Carson. And Gerald Everett, really what that wide receiver depth tells me is Gerald Everett is a guy that I want to run out there.
I think this is a game that could go over. I think this could be the sneaky shootout game of the week. Healthiest Wentz, but as healthy of the playmakers he's going to have all year, even with Hilton on IR missing the first 3 weeks. You get a healthy Paris Campbell-ish. You get a healthy-ish Michael Pittman. You get JT and Hines. You get those slew of tight ends. We know Wentz with Reich likes to use his tight ends. Jack Doyle, Wally Cox, and Trey Burton. I think Burton's still there. There's this game could go over, and you might see some value in terms of your dynasty build or your DFS building, and maybe some flex plays out of this game.
Yeah, and not looking at it from that perspective. For the Colts, too, look, this is a good game if you got a Michael Pittman to run him out there. Because you expect this to be high scoring. If you have a Paris Campbell that you took a dart throw on, maybe not so much that, but
I mean, both him and Pittman were going relatively in the same range. I think both of them could have nice games.
They could.
I'm betting on Pittman more.
I'd bet on Pittman
You're right
more,
there.
which is why I'm more comfortable with that. But also because Pittman was drafted a lot higher.
Well,
At least
they're both-
the drafts
they're both
I did.
second round pits. Oh
No, I mean fantasy drafts.
Fantasy
Right?
draft. Okay.
Have you been
I was
drinking?
like, wait a minute. What's that?
Have you been
I've
drinking? So,
Of course I have.
now I think that this is a fine one to test out some Colts wide receivers if you need to. Look, if you waited on wide receiver, Michael Pittman could have a huge game. Paris Campbell could have a huge game. That's one thing we're waiting to see for the Colts is what wide receiver breaks out. Other than that, you're chalkier. Carson Wentz, if you drafted him in a position to stream, not a bad time to do that. Again, Seattle's defense is not anything you're scared of. And for Seattle, look, Rashad Penny is another one of those streamer backs if you're looking for somebody to plug in for Eckler. I just think that there's enough questions on Seattle's offense outside of Lockett, Metcalf, and Carson. There's going to be somebody else. Actually, I'm going to walk that back. Maybe not Penny. I'm on Gerald Everett heavy in this game.
I was gonna say you don't need to bet on the Everett, Lockett, Metcalf. You're obviously gonna play. I think Everett has very good sneaky. I keep going back to DFS. Love him in DFS. If you waited on tight end, this is the week. This is kind of what
It's a good time to do it.
this is your matchups that you're looking for, right? It's high scoring matchups with a lot of opportunity.
Yep.
I mean,
You just went all weird.
I know.
There you go.
Am I
Minnesota.
back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Minnesota, Cincinnati. 3-point split on this one. Minnesota is favored. 47.5 over under. Gonna see if Joe Burrow's got the yips out of him.
I mean, Homer, I guess, but I'm not. As a Vikings fan, I'm not betting this game.
You're
If you,
real heavy on the improvements that Minnesota made on defense, though.
I do, I am. I'm not the only one. I know that's more of a. I mean, I guess it's more uncommon to hear it, but I am very much on the side that they're gonna. I wouldn't say vastly improve, but clearly better than last year.
Low bar.
True. Nice, nice pun.
Yeah, don't really mean to throw that out there, but low bar.
Low bar. But yeah, you're right. We're gonna see what Cincinnati what this offense looks like with all these young pieces. I like Mixon to catch a lot of passes in this game. I think Minnesota tries to establish the run here, since he probably gets a couple deep shots in on this weakish secondary. But
weakish secondary, but they did try to reinvent it with. I mean, you had Xavier Woods, who's been a solid safety for the Cowboys. Patrick Peterson, Bashaud Breeland, you're very much looking at what do you get out of that. And,
still got Harrison Smith.
You just have, Harrison Smith. It's, his mainstay. So, your safety help over the top is going to be there. It's really Peterson and Breeland, and what do you get out of those two? And I don't even want to say how they're deployed, right? Because right now, you don't really know what you're getting at either of them. Breeland did all right for the Chiefs last year during their playoff run. He came on late. Peterson was not. Look, he's not the Patrick Peterson of old. So
no, of course,
it's very much going to be what do you get. I'm okay running out your Bengals wide receivers here in Boyd and Higgins. Chase.
I'd probably skip Chase.
I'd skip Chase, given what's come out of camp, and until you see it, I would fall back on Chase. But really, it's those two wide receivers and Mixon. Burrow, I don't look at this and say he's going to have a blow up, right? There's too much that could go good for this Minnesota defense to where you can't look at Burrow and say he's going to have a blow up and I'm going to stream him. For Minnesota, there's not really anything to talk about. We know what Minnesota's going to be. They're going to pound Dalvin Cook, and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are going to be your pass getters. I'm not running out until we figure out how they're going to.
That's if Jefferson plays.
That's if he plays, right?
That's if he plays.
If he doesn't, Herndon could have a bigger role. You could just see a lot more Dalvin Cook.
Week one.
Yeah,
I think Cook. I think it's Cook, Thielen. I don't know if you see a lot more Herndon week one. Completely new offense, maybe.
And I think
maybe
Jefferson
Tyler
probably
starter.
plays, by the way.
Yeah. And if he does, you have to worry about it. But
yeah.
As of right now, we know Minnesota likes to, condense their targets to a few players. So.
Yep. Last early game, Dolphins-Patriots, 3-point spread. Dolphins are dogs
first
here.
Of the late games.
No, it's 12-0. It's 12-01.
This is 3. I got 3:20.
Am I reading?
I got this as a 3:30 game.
I am reading it wrong. Sorry.
Either way.
I was reading it wrong. That's on me.
Patriots 3-point favorites.
No, hold on.
Beer review.
Yes, it's time.
Since we've forgotten it like 2 weeks in a row.
No, we got it late last week.
Try to keep that in between the early and the late games.
Probably it's a smart idea. The one thing that the end season does well for us is splits up our time well.
Yep. All right, so I'll start. This is a very easy drinking barrel-aged stout. It is not overly heavy. It is not overly syrupy, especially given all the adjuncts and the sweetness in it. Goes down quite well. A little bit of a hug from the bourbon. There is vanilla in this as well, so the vanilla is going to mask some of what you would normally get off the bourbon barrel, but there is a little bit of a hug there. Vanilla lays underneath, gives you that sweetness on the lips. I think the fudge on this really stands out. Don't really get the peanuts at all. But what I get a lot out of this beer is fudge to start, and it finishes with a little bit of cherry, just a little bit of tartness from that cherry flavor there. So, look, does it remind me of eating an ice cream sundae? Of course not. It's not that cold, and there's not enough vanilla in it to do that. But overall, very, very good stout. All of the flavors that they tried to pull out of here are the bourbon's prominent, the vanilla's prominent, the fudge is prominent, the cherry's prominent. The peanut, I don't get a lot off of. We know the sprinkles are just for show. You're not going to get anything off of those. Peanut might just provide a little bit of balance, and I think is what might help to make it more drinkable. But yeah, for the most part, very, very good. I paid $11 for a 12-ounce bottle. Would I do it again? Probably. I'd probably buy it on tap too. It's a very good barrel-aged stout. So I was hoping it wasn't overly heavy. It is not. So Prairie, once again, they do stouts well. They did good on this one too.
So again, I'm drinking Distills Santa Cara series. This is their barrel aged sour series. This is the phrase adjunct of it. So this is their sour ale aged in oak barrels with strawberries added. This is back from 2015. So expectations are a bit of the strawberry has fallen off, which has completely been the case. You get a little bit of the funky and the wildness from it being a sour ale. These are wild sour aged. So this is a cultured condition. So the temperature, what the air culture is in the area in which it was bottled in. I think at this point they hadn't quite started to stash their own culture from the Illinois area. So this is going to be cultured from back then. So a lot has changed. Probably is a bit different than what it was even 6 years ago. So this one, a bit funky, a bit grassy, a bit skunkish, as you will. Strawberries, pretty much, they're pretty much gone at this point. Maybe hints of it, but
that's what I got off of the last one of those I had. It's just the age on it.
Yeah,
fruit falls off first.
Yep, and it's you're gonna get what's left is, the sour ale and how it's conditioned with the culture that was used.
For sure. All right, now on to Dolphins Patriots.
Boom, let's go.
Dolphins are dogs in this one, and I think they can pull the upset in Foxborough here. Brian Flores returning. He had a defense that performed better than the sum of its park. Mac Jones making his first ever start. This is a game that, again, I'm not getting too exceptionally cute with. There's going to be a Dolphins wide receiver that does something. I'm not going to start a Dolphins wide receiver this week.
I'm not going to be shocked if this line moves towards more even money.
I'm
Miami
not either.
being +3, I can see sharp money. Moving on to this, I don't expect this line to go up. I'm not really confident in either direction. I'm a little surprised Miami isn't favored.
That's kind of why I'm leaning there.
This is more neutral because it's in New England. They're just tipping the nod to the home team.
Right. So
yeah, it's 43.5. New England still has a good defense. Miami, we know it's being built the right way. We'll see if that defense is there.
Also a solid defense. I mean, they
Also
overperformed last year, so. And it's not like New England is deft with offensive firepower.
God, no, they're going to slow pace, try to keep this close. This game would not shock me if it's within a touchdown.
I'd expect
final time.
I'd expect a lot of very average performances out of this one, and I'm not going anywhere but Harris, Gaskin, and maybe Jacoby Myers here.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe, if you want to throw out Gesicki, if you waited late on tight end, that might be your choice. But
yeah,
with Jonnu, if Henry's not ready to go.
Yeah, because Henry is dealing with injuries right now. So if Henry's not ready to go, Jonnu becomes an obvious choice. But, other than that, I'd expect a lot of average performances out of this game.
Yeah, this is an easy pass of a game.
Yep, I do like Miami, though, plus odds.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Cleveland, Kansas City. Kansas City favored by 6.5, -290.
Over under is highest of the week. Over under is 4.5.
High, yeah, 54.5. So, look, highest of the week. That means you're running out your offensive players.
Thankfully, the Chiefs make it very easy on us. You only want to play
the normal people.
4 of them.
Same people we've talked about the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, two with Edwards-Helaire, but
Browns, you're going to get a little bit of the upside from Baker in a higher pace, and what should be a higher pace, higher scoring game.
Baker will be a fine stream. Chubb and
I like the Browns 6.5 on the road dogs here, though.
Yeah.
Very good team. They're healthy. They were handicapped against this Chiefs team in the playoffs last year. because it's not like Mahomes was out the entire game. But Browns, I think, have one of the more complete rosters in football.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great test for them.
I would take
I like Cleveland to cover 6.5.
I'd take the over on Baker passing yards, 257.
I like the Browns game stack in DFS here too as well. I like if you're building multiple lineups, don't shy away from maybe a Baker Odell stack with a Tyree comeback in your tournament lineups soon.
No early odds for Browns receivers, by the way. So they don't know what to make out of Jarvis and Odell either. Jarvis was obviously the better receiver last year. Odell got hurt. Look, if you need to throw him out there, you can. I may be a little – I know it's a high-scoring game. I may be a little bullish on seeing how they distribute target volume there. I like both backs for Cleveland a lot. I like Baker a lot. I'm a little bullish because I can't predict how they're going to use Odell and Jarvis, especially if both are healthy, because that hasn't been the case since they started playing together there.
Yeah. Odell's obviously been a big disappointment since joining Cleveland. This might be the most stable it gets for him. Year 2 with Stefanski. I as many people do, we have high expectations for this Browns, and I think they come out and they prove it in this game. If they lose, it's going to be a close loss. Maybe they even hold the lead, going into the fourth quarter, maybe late into the fourth quarter. So, Browns spread, love there. Over under is a bit rich, but again, all it takes is one Mahomes-esque a type of quarter for this game to go over. So Browns may try to slow the game down early on, but Mahomes gets a couple big deep shots in, and then you're riding high on this over. Might be a fun live game to bet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun live one to bet, especially if Cleveland keeps it close. So
yeah.
Denver and New York. Oh my God!
Can we just skip this? I don't even. There's literally nothing that's like. Play Broncos defense if you're playing defenses.
That's part of the reason why we told you draft the Broncos defense. This game?
This is.
Yes, we can gloss over it. The one thing I will say is that play both Denver running backs. They're going to try to run the ball first. If Melvin Gordon's good to go, just throw them both out there. See what happens. That's it. That's all I got.
Barkley, Sutton, Judy. That's it.
Well, and Barkley might be on a pitch count, so
true. But again,
you're still gonna go with
probably still gonna play him.
It might be pretty. It might be pretty ugly though.
Yeah, it might. You don't be surprised if it's not as expected.
Yeah, that's ugly. Packers Saints. Packers only favored by 4. I figured they should be favored by more than that.
That's
over under on this one is 50 somehow. It's got to be mostly Green Bay, right?
It feels. I mean, Winston. I mean, it's a tough matchup for Callaway. He'll draw
Alexander.
He'll probably draw Alexander. Traquan is
hell of a matchup for Kamara. Traquan should be targeted heavy.
He's gonna play, but he's at 100%. Troutman's probably not gonna play. If he does, he won't be 100%. It's all Kamara. I think that's why
all Kamara.
This might be. You take the under. And Green Bay by 4 points feels like a good bet.
It does.
Road team, it can be difficult. It's not even in New Orleans. It's in Jacksonville.
It's in Jacksonville.
So not even true home.
Right. By the way, thoughts with yes, FanDuel. I know I've wagered $0, and I know what time it is. Thanks. Green Bay's chalk.
Yeah, it's Rodgers, Adams.
Yep.
Jones.
Bears, Rams. Bears are 7.5-point dogs on the road.
Ooh, 47.5 favorites. Or not favorites.
Not a lot of love for the Bears offense here, nor should there be with Andy Dalton starting. So, Robinson's going to draw Ramsey, former teammates against each other.
This feels like
ugly.
A Darrell Henderson game.
It does. Sony,
if you want to play on the backs.
Sony McVay's already said it's going to depend on how well he knows the playbook. So, I mean, look, this feels like Henderson and then Kupp and Woods, right? Because the Bears are weak at cornerback. They've got Johnson, and that's
Stafford,
it.
if you
So,
want.
and Stafford.
Stafford.
I like Stafford a lot in this one. I am not touching a bear. Even Allen Robinson, I am definitely scared of in this game. You're probably going to start him. I don't love it. So,
You're hoping volume leads it. Don't expect. Maybe you get a late touchdown. Maybe you get one big late. Not late, but maybe one big play, a couple big shots.
yeah.
You're not excited, but you're hoping volume can carry with Robinson.
No, you're not excited on that at all, and don't touch Mooney.
Yeah.
Rough game.
I may even take. I'll take Rams. I'll even take Rams in the points, 7.5.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm fine with that.
I
I'm
would
fine with
too.
that. I don't know if the Bears are going to score enough points to push this over too. So I may even take. I may take the Rams in the under.
Yeah,
And they're playing their backups by the fourth quarter.
yeah. I think this is a blowout. I mean, I'll have to watch it, but look, you might see Justin Fields at halftime.
You might see Justin Fields by the second quarter.
Remember that time where I said this is going to be the Mike Glennon thing all over again, where he lasted like a quarter, and then Trubisky came in? We're probably going to get that same thing.
And it's Justin Fields coming in, not Trubisky. So
Yeah. Ravens and Raiders somehow is the Monday night game.
we only get one this year. We only do get one this year.
Only one Monday night game.
Normally we get two on the open. Interesting.
Makes me shocked they didn't do the Bears and Rams out on the West Coast as a doubleheader.
I agree. Interesting. But anyways,
Anyway,
what a shitty Monday night start though. Thank God.
yeah, that is not a great Monday night game. Raiders 4.5-point dogs at home. Makes sense. Over under is 51. That seems high.
Ravens in the under. Ravens get up early. They're just going to run it down their throats and just suffocate the time of possession.
No, they which bodes well for Gus Edwards.
Gus, I mean, you're not. You shouldn't play Tyson Williams, but if we're talking about,
Right.
I mean, who would you rather play, Tyson Williams or Justin Jackson?
Justin Jackson.
Okay.
I know what I'm getting. Devil I know versus the devil I don't. I like Justin Jackson, though. I don't mean to call him a devil. I mean, the Ravens are going to run Lamar Jackson when they're up. So, I mean, it's Gus Bus and, Mark Andrews, I guess, if you're looking for receiving options. Vegas, great game for Darren Waller.
That's it.
Going to be a benchmark for Brian Edwards, so just keep an eye on him. You're not starting him, but
No.
if you drafted Brian Edwards as a deep cut, this is going to be a measuring stick and something we'll talk about next week. So,
Waller Jacobs for the Raiders. Eye out on Edwards. Watkins is the only healthy receiver for Baltimore, shockingly enough. If you want to get cute, you can throw him out there, but you're right. Mark Andrews, Gus Bus, Lamar Jackson, and Ravens defense. That's it. Ravens spread and the under. I like in this matchup.
I do too. All right. That's all we got, I think. We'll
That's
be
it?
back in some form on Sunday morning.
I'll
So
see if there's any late breaking news that we may have. I don't know if there'd be any.
that was a lot more efficient than anything we did last year. Thanks, Broncos Giants.
Broncos, Giants, got even Niners, Lions, Jets, Panthers,
Yep.
Jacksonville, Houston. Like, there's some games that are easily skippable.
The other thing here is that we're not doing a recap on this episode either. So,
Yep.
when we get every episode after this one, will probably be longer because we'll be doing double duty a little bit. So, we'll try to make it efficient.
You're not going to get full breakdowns on every game, but you'll get the things we learned from week one, and you'll get our
And how to apply them to week 2, basically.
in the same type of preview, maybe a
Little lighter.
quicker, little lighter, little quicker.
Probably spend less time on a game I wanted to spend 45 seconds on.
Yeah.
So,
As we saw, we skipped mostly over game props, but a lot of game props we won't know when we're doing Wednesday shows.
No, and
We'll
player
really know
props.
is Thursday. So.
we'll get into those a little bit on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We'll undoubtedly have time to fill. So, all right. Thank you guys. At Beerfield on Twitter.
Yes.
At Beerfield Hop on Twitter with 2 P's. At Beerfuel 30 on Twitter. There's no ED in that. Dan doesn't have ED. I get it.
That's good.
Other than that, we will catch you on Sunday.
Later, guys.